Church guys like sports too. Before I can sing my song. Ain't that right, D-Right? New York, got the bright lights. Big city of dreams and the nightlife. It's the concrete jungle, now we know it. That's why it's cool to scream New York Knicks. 1973 was the last year. We brought a championship ring here. Lift your hands, Knicks fans. You now have a right to go buck in the stands. Knicks, we here. Keep your head up. New York Knicks, this is your year. Some doubters, some laughed at us. Some went to Brooklyn, some went to Dallas. Shout out to the true Knicks fans who stayed the course. Hope for a win even though we still lost. Shout out to Coach Tibbs and KP. Not the unicorn, but the man from Kentucky. Got Julius playing like a North Star. He the
Where all my Knicks fans at?
IQ, gonna have to guard and going crazy.
Where all my New York Knicks fans at? I need all the Knicks fans. I want the Knicks haters. Y'all go get the New York Knicks haters. Tell them to come on. Church guys like sports right now. Let that man sleep. Somebody go get Corbin McLean. Get him out the bed. I know y'all ain't at work today. It's a snow day. Get on this Church Guys Like Sports right now.
But I'm glad a change came.
Ned, get on here. Listen, I'm here to talk about Church Guys Like Sports. I'm going to share this. I got to tag a couple of folks, and I want y'all to share this to a couple of folks. Some folks need to have their hind parts on here because a lot of people got a lot to say about my New York Knicks. And when we win, they know where to be seen. They know where to be found. Where they at? Where they at? Come on. Come on in here. I need all. Yeah, we're going to do some cakes. I'm going to G-Light Sweet Shop right after I finish this show. We doing a delayed opening because of the snow down here. It ain't that bad, about 5 inches. There you go, Rochelle, Shelly. Got about 5 inches of snow. So G-Light's gonna open at 12 today. For those of you that are coming, here we go, Knicks fans. Did y'all see last night? And this is why I know we are championship bound. When the team overcomes like the Knicks did yesterday. Look, that was not normal. Bing bong. Bing bong. Where all the Knicks haters at this morning? I didn't say nothing last night. I was caught up in, dealing with some stuff with Life Impact Worship Center, the new location, the new church, the new building. I was caught up dealing with stuff over there. But I didn't say nothing last night, but I said, I made a decree and a declaration. I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to say something this morning. Because how many teams can be down by 25 points? And the Celtics and the Knicks have a rivalry that goes back beyond my years, before I was even born. So this is a rivalry game. All the stars are there. Tracy Morgan is there. Spike Lee. All of the stars was there. And when the big lights are on, that's when you know who's who. Down 25 points. Come back from 25 down to win the game against the mighty Celtics. And we didn't just win the game, but R.J. Barrett hits the last second shot. a three-pointer. You know why I'm happy? Because that usually happens to the Knicks. But now it's going to happen for the Knicks. And let me tell you, God going to turn some things around for you. What used to happen to you, getting ready to happen for you. Listen here. There's some things getting ready to turn around. When R.J. Barrett hit that shot, tears flowed down my face. The Celtics are good. James Canada Jr., they are good. They got Jason Tatum. They got Jaylen Brown. They got Marcus Smart. They are good. Don't try to say they ain't no good because we beat them. You know, once the Knicks win, oh, the Celtics ain't no good. No, they good. Don't let the record fool you. They good. And R.J. Barrett, he reminds me of how John Starks used to be. John Starks would have a horrible game, but when it counted, that man hit the shot. He shot 4 for 15, but he made the one that he needed to make. You see, it don't matter what you do, long as you show up when you need to show up. And Evan Fournier, I told y'all about Evan Fournier. He is the only person in the world that I know that's part black, part white, part Israeli, part Mexican, and he plays for the France team. You explain that to me. Anybody like that, you know he could play some basketball. He's part white, part black, part Hispanic. He's part, what's the other thing? Israeli, and plays for France. I don't know what to call him. He can march with everybody. Evan Fournier had 41 points last night. 41 points against the Celtics. Okay, I'm looking at the same Celtics that almost went to the NBA Finals 2 years ago. They're the same. Now the Celtics ain't no good. Okay, they'll beat the Lakers. They beat up the Lakers the other day, and my Knicks have turned it around. I think that's 2 or 3 games in a row. And you know what else? That boy Quickly, he's a problem. If we can hold on to Emmanuel Quickly, God with us, that's his name, Emmanuel. You know that song, Emmanuel. God with us. If we can hold on to him, because that boy can shoot. And the Knicks came back from 25 points. When you do that, when you do that, you got something extra on the inside of you. Anybody on here, you've had some downs, but you came out on top. They counted you out, but you came out on top. Let me tell you something, Charles Barkley. Don't you be talking about my team. Talking about these are too good. Both at halftime, Barkley talking about, the Knicks ain't got no shot. This game is over. Like we ain't a real team or something. Don't you do that. You can never count the Knicks out because we got heart. You hear that? We got heart. We from New York. We are from New York. Statistics say New Yorkers are the most likely in the whole United States to survive a gunshot. New Yorkers survive bullets, stab wound, shot up. We survive. And I'm going to tell you, because we from New York, that's why our team got heart. We got something extra on the inside. We got heart. So shout out to my Knicks for making my day. You know what? I don't care what else happened for the rest of the day. It could snow. I'm happy in my soul. I'm happy. Now, I got to talk about something. I got to go over to the NFL. And y'all bear with me because we got to address this Antonio Brown thing. And I got to address this. I'm going to come back to the NBA. And there's a thing I got to address over there too. But Antonio Brown, I have to say this on Church Guys Like Sports too. I have to apologize to Antonio Brown. I have to apologize to him. I owe him about a 90% apology because many of us, not just me, but many of us jumped the gun on that whole situation. We didn't consider what made him snap. Now, my reasoning is, I owe him a 90% apology. My reasoning that I jumped the gun is because of his previous actions. All the stuff he did with the Oakland Raiders, what he did with Pittsburgh Steelers, and what he did to Mike Tomlin, and what he did in New England. But we owe him an apology because we didn't know the full story. That's why you got to always get the full story. Let me talk to these church folks. This is Church Guys Like Sports too. You got to always get to the full story. There's 3 sides to every story. It's his side, it's her side, and then it's the truth. Hello. They got a side, and then they got a side, and then somewhere in the middle is the truth. Gotta get to the whole story. Now, after getting to the whole story, I still don't think it merits you getting half naked and running around the field. That's why I give him a 90% apology. Because most of us have been fired before. I've been fired from a church before. I got fired from Unity Baptist Church on Cortlandt Street in 1998 up there in the Bronx. They used to pay me $225 a week and singles, all singles. And the pastor, for some reason, I came there, he fired me. What I did, he fired me before service. I still had to play the service. And knowing that was my last Sunday. I didn't take my suit off and take my shirt off and strip down to my undergarments and bounce around the middle aisle and walk out. I respectfully got my last bit of money, told them, God bless you, I'll see you around, and I left out. So, and I know some of y'all got fired before. You didn't strip, you ain't take your shirt. I still had to play the service battle. He fired me in the morning when I got there. He said, old man. I forgot his name. Old man, he dead and gone now. This was 24 years ago. I'd rather let you know that your services are no longer required here. We are going next new direction. I said, okay, Pastor. And but we still want you to play the service today. I said, wow. They fired me and because I hired my brother Derek. Derek was playing for me. I was paying him $25 to play for me. He was about 14, 15, and I was up there 19, 20 years old, and they got rid of me. But the point of what I'm saying is, no, it's in the Bronx. It's a little small church on Cortlandt Road up there, not far from Yankee Stadium. But then I went back about 2 years later when I could really play, and they wanted me to come back. I said, no, you can't afford me. Oh, let me finish what I'm talking about. The point, when I got fired, I didn't strip, take my clothes off, and bounce around the church and bounce around the field. When you got fired from your job, you ain't throw your shirt off and throw it in the crowd. So that's why I only give him a 90% apology, because it's a way to handle getting fired. But the Tampa Bay Bucks, let me tell y'all are wrong for the way y'all did him. The man was playing hurt. And Antonio Brown, y'all better stop playing with that dude. He got receipts. That dude is screenshotting text messages between the coach and the trainers. Y'all better stop. Y'all stop playing with some of these folks, Because you think you can say and do what you want and they ain't got no proof of what you saying. Everything you text somebody, everything you email somebody, it can come right back on you. Stop all this lying and conniving. I hope none of us, if we got fired from our jobs, will take our shirt off and show our everything. I thought when I was watching it, I thought Antonio Brown was going to take everything off. Yeah, I thought he might have had a flashback. He's at Chippendales or something. He went down. If he took his drawers off, that would have really made CNN. And they got text messages. Antonio Brown, stop playing with him. He got text messages and he about to bring the whole organization down. You know, at your church, you know you fired the drummer before. You know you saw the bass player get fired. You saw the organist get fired. What if he's stripped down to his drawers and bounced around the church with two saying, I'm out, I'm out, I'm out? So it's a way to handle it. Now, I still owe him an apology because I jumped the gun and I called him crazy. But they kind of drove. He's a little nutso, but they kind of pushed the button. According to Antonio Brown, Bruce Arians knew he was hurt, told him to get back in the game, and Antonio said, I can't. I can't because my ankle, I can't run. I can't sprint. I can't get off the line. And Bruce Arians did like this to him. You're done. He said, you're done. And he told him to get out of here. No, he said, get the F out of here. You're done. After the man had played the whole first half hurt. And I'm going to tell you, Antonio Brown said it made him feel like he was not allowed to feel pain. Like the slave days when they would just say, run, ninja, run. Work, ninja, work. Not caring how you feel. And that's where we owe that man an apology. He was hurt and he could not continue to play. And Bruce Arians knew it. The text message says it. The text message says it. Jonathan Ballard, you are nuts, man. So we owe him an apology, but I don't know if Antonio Brown is going to play again in the NFL. I really don't know. Because one thing you can't argue with is somebody's past transgressions. It is proof that Antonio Brown has done some off things. That's not speculation. So sadly, our reputation follows us. Sadly, our reputations hinder us. But if you're talented enough, no matter what your reputation is, somebody gonna give you a shot. Oh, welcome to Church Guys Like Sports too. I got to say it. I'm gonna say it. You know you've hired musicians that had a bad rep. You know you hired musicians that had a bad reputation. But if they're talented enough, some of us will deal with the bad rep. No matter how bad it is. I've gone on interviews with bishops and pastors. And it's sad that they even have to ask this. They would say, I don't want a musician that's going to run through my church. You come on, y'all heard them say it. I don't want a musician that's going to run through my choir. Y'all heard them say it. Because they have had that experience. Hiring somebody that was talented, but all the other stuff was kind of jacked up. And it's horrible that the reputations of others will get attached to you because of the where you are. And they say it because they talk about Antonio Brown in the same voice as Terrell Owens, his old self. He don't need to come back and play nowhere. So if you lack character behind the talent, nobody want to deal with you. Antonio Brown is one of the best wide receivers we've ever seen. He's one of the best route runners. But he got so much other stuff. Who's willing to give him a shot? I think somebody gonna give him a chance. Somebody gonna give him a shot. You know, I just don't want, you know what? I might take him. I might take him on the Jets. But when you know somebody has these problems, it's certain places y'all better make me preach today. It's certain places they cannot play. Like if Antonio Brown got the issues that we know he has, New York really ain't the place for him. He need to go play for Denver or something. Denver Broncos or one of them, maybe Green Bay, Wisconsin. You're right. Owens never refused to go in the game. That's true. Terrell Owens had his problems, but he always played the game. And I don't think Antonio Brown need to go to Dallas. Because if he go to Dallas already full of, back in the 90s, all of the Dallas Cowboys were selling drugs or using drugs. Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, all of them, they was all either selling or using. So, Antonio Brown, I apologize because we didn't get the full story. You should not have even been playing in that game, really. And a lot of folks say, oh, it was because, see, and you hear all these other, oh, it was because he wanted to get his money and they wasn't giving him the ball so he can get his money. That wasn't it. The man said he was hurt. He didn't want to go back in the game. And the coach cut him off. And said he's fired, so he threw off his clothes. I challenge every musician that if you get fired from your church, to get off that organ, get off that drum set, throw your clothes off and throw your clothes in the audience. Throw your clothes in the pews. Strip down to your drawers and bounce around and run a lap around the whole church and then leave. Now, because some folks say, oh yeah, we all Antonio Brown. That's why I said a 90% apology. Because not everything he did was right. Can you imagine some of the women in your church getting fired from their job working for the city and they just take it off during the office? They just strip and run out the office, run around the cubicles and then leave. You can't do that. You cannot do that. All right. One last thing I got to deal with. Kevin Porter Jr. He's a basketball player. I believe he's a shooting guard for the Houston Rockets. And some years ago, I want to say maybe about 15 years ago, Kevin Porter Jr.'s dad went to jail. This is true. He went to jail for shooting and killing a 14-year-old girl. I don't know the details of the shooting or anything like that. But Kevin Porter's dad, Kevin Porter is in the NBA. He's with the Houston Rockets. And his dad went to jail for shooting somebody. This is what Kevin Porter did. Kevin Porter hit a last-second game-winning shot. And the announcer, I cannot remember the announcer's name right now, but the announcer says this on national TV and radio. Kevin Porter Jr. pulled the trigger at the right time, just like his daddy. You're not hearing me. He said Kevin Porter pulled the trigger at the right time. What a shot. Just like his daddy. And the man's father is serving a life sentence right now for shooting and killing somebody. That's got to be one of the harshest things that I've ever heard an announcer say. That's got to be one of the... He pulled the trigger just like his daddy, and the man's father shot somebody and killed him and is in jail. Matter of fact, I think, no, the father ain't in jail. I think the father got killed. I think the father is dead from that shooting. And then the announcer, some of these things, some of these folks say, I can't believe that everything is a mistake. I don't know. He tried to say it was an honest mistake because he thought Kevin Porter Jr. was the son of another basketball player from the 70s named Kevin Porter. But that's why, as a journalist, as a play-by-play announcer, you have to do your research. This boy father ain't no bad, wasn't in the NBA. This boy father was a killer, shooting folk. And you gonna get on there and say Kevin Porter shot that shot and pulled the trigger right at the right time, just like his daddy. What a horrible way to commentate. I looked at that thing. I said, did he? I had to replay it about 5 times. Did he really say that? Now they talking about firing him, but he says it was an honest mistake. And I did do some research, and there was a Kevin Porter that played in the NBA in the 70s, but he ain't got no son named Kevin Porter Jr. that played for the Houston Rockets. So we got to look at that. I'm going to find out your name. I'm going to come for you. I'm going to say something about you. We ain't done with you, you reporter, Houston Rockets. I don't think there's nothing honest about that, Bishop McCann. Nothing honest about that. All right, y'all. This has been another episode of, what's this, Church Guys Like Sports 2. We getting ready to roll out, heading up. As a matter of fact, I'm heading up that way, up towards Connecticut, and we're going to Pastor Powell's. Had to make my way to Pastor Powell's funeral. Y'all be praying, traveling grace. And I want y'all to be careful in this weather. It's snowing out there. Well, the snow is already down, but just be careful driving in this weather. Don't drive too fast. And I want to, again, shout out the New York Knicks. If you want to put something in the Cash App, you can do so on the bottom there, Life Impact Worship Center. All the proceeds for Church Guys Like Sports 2 are going to Life Impact Worship Center, our new location, our new church in South New Jersey. Amen. Our secondary location. We're still at Grace. But listen, you can love God and love sport. Thank you for tuning in to Church Guys Like Sports. Let's go, Knicks. And we got the Celtics again tomorrow night. And we're going to do the same thing. Same thing. Thank you, RJ Barrett.
1973.
We love you.
We
We out, y'all. Peace.
Your head